I'm creating this video to answer a question that was posted on the PTC user forums from Alvaro. It's how to create a bottle. Now, there was a couple suggestions on there, and as most of you know, there's not a right or wrong way to do things in Creo. There's more than one right way of doing something, and there's more than one wrong way of doing something. But a couple suggestions were made using surface boundary blends and things like that. So what I'm going to do is, Alvaro posted some pictures of the shape of the bottle, so I kind of used that as my guide. And for the sake of not making a 20-minute video, I already created all the features. I'm just going to walk you through it. What we're going to use to create this bottle is the variable sweep. The variable sweep tool in Creo is actually built into the sweep tool now. They used to be two separate icons, but now they've combined them to one. So the sweep, a lot of people don't realize, can also be used to create what's called a variable section sweep. So I already have the features created, but first let's just go into the tool. Let's go into the sweep tool so you can see something here. Most people understand that when you pick when you're going to create a sweep, you're going to pick a trajectory. You're going to either you're going to have a trajectory sketched, and you're going to select it. But they may not realize is that if you have other trajectories created, that you can actually use those and create what's called a variable section sweep, which is what I'm going to demonstrate here. So what I did first is that I created a let's go ahead and zoom all here. I created a curve, a sketch, that's going to be the sweep trajectory. And now, of course, this bottle happens to go, straight up in one direction. What I did then is that I actually created the side profile of the bottle. So if you turn these off, this is not the exact shape, okay, but just bear with me here. So this is the side profile of that bottle. I did it as a sketch feature as well. Nothing fancy there. Next thing we did is that I mirrored that sketch onto the other side, made them dependent. So now we have these three. I'm sorry, I went a little too far there. So the next thing we did is we created this sketch, which when you look at it this way is the other profile of this side of the bottle. So the bottle has obviously one particular shape in one direction and a different shape in the other. And you guessed it, we just mirrored that over. Okay. So I actually have the sweep already created here, but I'm going to recreate the sweep, and then I'm going to kind of cancel out of it and then keep moving forward just to kind of show you. That way I don't lose these other features. So what we did is we created the structure of this bottle. If you look at it from this direction, this is the basic shape we want, looking at it from that direction, and then the basic shape looking at it from this direction. Okay, so now what happens is if you go into sweep, most people understand if you pick a trajectory, okay, now you can sketch your section and you have a standard sweep. If you go into your references, you notice that you have a lot more room here for other trajectories. What happens is if you hold the control key, and pick one of these sketches, you'll see that it's called a chain. So I have added one chain. Now a variable section sweep can have one chain, 2, 3, or I don't know if there's like a limit, but I've done one with 20-something chains and got some really crazy shapes. So I'm going to keep holding control, and I'm going to add those 4 sketches as 4 chains. So now I have my origin, which is the traditional trajectory, and I have 4 chains. Okay. So now what happens is when we click on create the section, okay, it's going to basically orient you kind of like a normal sweep feature would. The difference is that if you look here, I know it's hard to see, but the endpoints here of all of these chains are actually automatically referenced. So what I did is I created an ellipse. I picked one of the points, I moved over to the other into snaps, and then I moved over and it snaps over here. So what's going to happen is with a variable section sweep is that unlike a traditional sweep, instead of just having a section follow a trajectory, this section here, it doesn't require dimensions, by the way, because it's driven by the references of these other chains. So this sketch this section is going to sweep along this profile while it changes and follows these 4 chains at those 4 locations. Okay. Now, to make things even crazier, just so you know, that the trajectory does not have to be straight. So you can actually make a bottle that is swirling on its way up as well. But for this example, we're going to stick with this. So I'm going to go ahead and hit check mark just so you can see the result. Okay. So this is the result of that feature. It's called a variable section sweep. Didn't take very much work to do this. It took me probably 10 minutes to do the sketches, and you saw how fast it is to create the variable section sweep. So if we were to hit check mark, you get this resulting geometry. Okay. Now, as I said before, I already created this sweep, so I wanted to show you this process of creating it. So now let's go ahead and move our insert here. There's that same feature. Okay. And then this is a solid model, and because it's a solid model, you can add rounds to the bottom, for example, to make it stand on the table. Obviously you can't have a bottle with a straight edge. And then you can also add a extrude on top, and then add a round and then shell it out, and now you have this bottle. Okay, so from the front view, the bottle looks like this. From the right view, the bottle looks like this. If you don't like the shape. Now, for what I did on these sketches, I actually used splines. Okay, you don't have to use splines. You can use lines and arcs. I like the flexibility of a spline as long as you can define it properly. But if we don't like the shape of this bottle, the cool thing is that you can just dynamically push it and pull it. And you can see the flexibility with this variable section sweep, that you can create some pretty amazing looking shapes. So let's go ahead and edit this side profile, and just to kind of show you what you can do. Okay, I can change this bottle pretty quick. Now, one of the things I would say, what I did to make the to ensure that the top of this bottle was round. Sorry about that. I made sure that the distance between these 2 sketches were the same distance between these 2. That way, when the variable section sweep was complete, it left me with a perfectly round top. Now, you don't have to do that. If the bottle has some oblong shape on top, it'll support that as well. So as you can see here, you can pretty much do a lot of different things with this particular tool. Variable section sweep. It is a standard feature. It's not getting into the swept blends and things like that. It's not a surface feature like a boundary blend type of surface. So this is, I believe, is one of the better tools for creating just about any shape you want, like a bottle. But you need to experiment with this feature because it can be used in many, many other applications. You can have one trajectory and then one chain to control a particular shape, while a dimension controls the bottom of the section. So there's a lot of possibilities with the variable section sweep. In Creo, it's just under the sweep now that they made it all one tool. So I hope that was helpful. And Alvaro, I hope this helps you kind of understand how to create that bottle you were talking about.